Gail from Cambridge Puppy Training. Just going to do a very quick video today to tell you a little bit about long lines, flexi leads. We use them a lot when we're trying to train a recall, in those early stages especially when we've got a puppy. We're trying to call them back to us many times throughout a walk when we're out, but we like to have a little bit of security over them, a little bit of control over where they're going and what they're doing. So we use things like long lines and flexi leads for that. The three main things we really need to think about when we're out and about with our puppies are road safety, so traffic, we can't have them running towards any traffic obviously. Respect for other owners, other dogs, we can't have our puppy running up to every dog he sees to say hello. And obviously livestock, we can't have our dogs or puppies worrying livestock at all. So long lines, flexi leads are really good, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about each and you can make up your own mind which you feels best. So we've got a flexi lead. Obviously you've probably all seen these before, very common. They flex as the dog pulls forward. Now they do allow your dog a bit of freedom. Your pup will get to stretch its legs, which is very nice, and you can still practice your recall on these. However, the wire is incredibly thin, as you can see, and if your puppy or your dog is running at speed and you grab that, that will slice your skin and really hurt. Similarly, if it's around your pup's leg and they run at speed, that will again slice and it will really hurt. So it's just something to really be aware of. Also, that sudden stop of that lock, very sudden jolt, that can be quite damaging for the neck of the dog. A lot of people say if you are to use one of these, make sure you use it on a harness, but nevertheless that sudden jolt is still pretty damaging, so it's just something to be aware of as well. Another thing, if you accidentally drop it, which I'm sure you aren't clumsy, but if you did happen to, that will bang along behind your puppy, and that can be pretty scary. And if a pup is trying to get away from that banging along, well, it's going to be trailing along behind. That's quite distressing for a puppy, so just something to be aware of. Also, that lock has been known not to work, so if your pup is heading towards a road or something, you go to lock it and it doesn't lock, nightmare. So yeah, something to bear in mind as well. But we've got a long line here, which you might not be quite so familiar with, but in my opinion is far superior to a flexi. It's basically a very normal lead, which is just very long, okay? As you can see, the main difference, it's made out of nicer materials, okay? So it's thicker, softer, much less harsh on your hands. If you do grab this, it's not going to slice your hand quite as badly as that flexi lead, I'm sure. Similarly, if it's around your dog's leg, again, it's not going to slice that skin quite the same. Also, another added benefit, you can just drop it with no sort of banging along behind or anything like that. You can just drop it, no harm done. Okay, also, as I mentioned with the flexi, the jolting, when you suddenly stop it, the jolting on the pup's neck, you can slow a puppy down quite nicely in this. If a dog's running and you want to gradually slow them down, very easy to do with a long line, not easy at all with a flexi lead. So that's really an added benefit with these. Another thing, I think, with the flexi leads, because of the tension on the neck, even though it's a flexi lead, there is that slight tension when they're pulling forward. They're very aware they're on a lead, okay? With something like this, they're not quite so aware of it. It's not quite such an obvious pulling on the neck, okay? So this isn't quite real to life, is it really, if you're recalling, practicing sort of making your pup feel he's off the lead and recalling, etc. Not really true to life when you can feel that he's on a lead. These are a little bit better. They're not quite so aware they're on a lead. Okay, so this is my choice. This is what I will use. I think they're far superior and far safer, but it's up to you which you choose. So if you need any more information, you can just get in touch. Otherwise, I'll see you all soon. Happy training. Bye.